Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fiverr Talks, the only channel that's all Fiverr all the time. As always, my name is Joel, and today we're talking again about turnaround times, but specifically about delivering early and why you should never do it. Make sure to watch this entire video to see what I mean. That's right, today we're finishing off what feels like the third video in a triad of videos about turnaround time and strategy, how to make more revenue. On Monday, we talked about turnaround times and how to set those appropriately for your gig, so make sure you go watch that video before you watch this one if you haven't already. And if you haven't watched the one from last week about extra fast turnaround times and how to turn that into more revenue, there's so much good content on this channel, you could just go at it for days. So make sure you go back and watch both of those videos. They tie into this final video, which is about delivery time. You see, it's not only important to set a good turnaround time that's good for you as a seller and for your buyer, it benefits both of you, but it is important to make sure that you deliver within a proper timeline, not just to be on time, but to manage expectations, because your job as a Fiverr seller is to manage your buyer's expectations throughout the entire process. From the moment they order to the moment you deliver, you should manage their expectations perfectly and to a T, so there's no surprises, they don't have any questions, they're not left wondering. It is your job to remove those questions and make sure you are predictable, if not anything. And I know that might sound a little boring in this world of like, let's shake it up and do something different. I mean, you're a freelancer. You're not working a regular job because you want to, sit in a cubicle all day. You're working a freelance job because you're ready to break the norm, break some kind of template for life. You're crazy. And sometimes that leads to a little bit of unpredictability. We might think that's sexy and we just want to do it. But the problem is when you're developing a service, especially on Fiverr, you want to be as predictable as you possibly can for your buyer so that they know exactly what to expect and they never get that feeling where their heart jumps into their throat and they're like, oh, we're not going to meet the deadline. I'm not going to get this done. I can't trust this person. You got to be able to trust you from beginning to end. And that's why I think you should never deliver early. So I want to unpack that and spend some time talking about it so that you understand what I mean and the heart behind it, because in the early days, I would simply do whatever came to the top of the list and I would deliver it whenever I was done with it, whether that was on day 2 of a 10-day timeline, day 9 of a 10-day timeline, or maybe day 9 and hour 23 of a 10-day timeline. I want you to have a little bit more consistency and appropriate control over your delivery times, especially when you can and you're not super busy, to make sure that it's predictable for your buyer so that you can create an environment in which they feel safe and in which they feel like they can know what to expect if they come back to you again. So that leads me to my question of the day. If you'd like to participate more, leave your answer in the comments below. Tag it with QOTD so we know you're answering the question of the day. The question today is, when do you try to deliver in your timeline? Do you deliver as soon as you're done, no matter how long the gig's been open, or do you wait all the way until the end? I want to find out how many of you are already doing this and how much of this is a new method for you. So leave me your answer down below. Love to hear from you and see your results shared with everybody else. We really appreciate you commenting and being a part of this channel. So on to my tips and my reasoning for why you should never deliver early, in my opinion. The first reason is that it tears apart everything we talked about at the top of this video, which is it alters expectations. When you deliver early, it alters expectations, and you might be thinking, like me, that that's a good thing, right? We surprise, we delight, we over-deliver. We alter the expectation of the customer, and it's a good thing by delivering early. Well, maybe. In some cases. But in other cases, if you deliver too early, it might send a message to your buyer that you rushed through this project, that you weren't giving it the time you normally give it. You estimated it would take 7 days to do, and you delivered in 2. What about the other 5 days? Was this just a sandbag job and did they not really need 7 days? Or did they spend half the time they normally do, a third of the time they normally do, a quarter of the time they normally do on this project? Was I not important? You see, it alters expectations. You set the expectation by setting a turnaround time, and then when you deliver too early, you alter the expectation for the buyer. Now, I'll tell you what this also does. This also alters the expectation for any repeat buyer in the future. For instance, if you place a 7-day turnaround time on a project and deliver in 2 days the first time around, well, the next time your customer might come and expect that you'll also deliver in 2 days. But then when it takes you the full 7 days or maybe 6 days to complete it, they could be upset for no good reason. The only reason being you gave them a new expectation that it only takes you 2 days to do this job because you delivered too early the first time around. See what I mean? You've altered their expectation. Rather than sticking with the 7 days or close to the 7 days that you promised, they were altered in their expectation. And so the next time they had an interaction with you, they expected it would be exactly the same. And they might say something to you like, hey, why is this taking so long? Last time you did it in 2 days. Why is it going to take 7? And you see what I mean? You've altered the expectation of the buyer, and it's going to change the experience for them the next time around. So delivering too early is not always a good thing. Now, here's another negative to delivering too early, and the reason I never do it is that if you offer extra fast turnaround time, which we've talked about in other videos, is a great source for increasing revenue, giving people who are willing to pay for it priority service, putting them at the top of the line. If you're delivering early all the time, you de-incentivize, whatever it is. You take away the incentive for your buyers to purchase extra fast delivery. If they order standard delivery and they know you'll deliver it early or in half the time you promise every time, they won't order extra fast delivery. And thus, you've kind of developed a system where it's not necessary to pay for priority service and still receive it. And that robs you of your opportunity to make extra revenue by serving people more quickly, which is completely valid and a respectable thing to do. It's a respectable strategy and one I think you should take advantage of. But this, delivering too early, being unpredictable in your expectations that you're laying out for the buyer, it can all lead to people ordering that extra fast turnaround gig option a whole lot less, which is not good. Really, what I would recommend that you do, depending on the turnaround time for your gig, is always deliver in the last 24 to 48 hours of your gig's due date or due time, because there's an actual clock on Fiverr that ticks away at the top and you'll see the amount of hours. I like to deliver within that 24 to 48 hour window within the deadline. Now, that should be determined by the length of turnaround time. For instance, in my animation gigs, my turnaround time is 21 days. We take 3 weeks to create a video. So sometimes I'll deliver that in that closer to the 48-hour side of that window. Whereas in my voiceover gigs that only have a 3 or 4 day timeline, I'll always deliver that within 24 hours of the due date. But if I can avoid it, I never deliver it right down to the deadline because I don't want people wondering, are they going to deliver on time? Are they going to get this to me? You see, that's what's difficult is if you go all the way up to the edge or even go late, you have people wondering, again, their expectations are altered. You have them wondering, can I trust what they say? Can I trust this promised timeline? And it's almost the same way if you deliver too early. Can I trust this person? If they say 7 days is how long it takes and it actually takes 2, can I trust this person? It puts a little doubt in their mind. And so that's the reasoning why I never deliver early. I did a lot in the early days and saw some of the damage that I've talked about here that it does with a buyer and the way it alters their expectations and their experience. And I think this is something that we should all consider. So if you finish the job early, finish the work early, you know what I do? I craft a delivery message, leave a link or get ready to attach the file in there, hit save on that message box, then go back to my gig queue and I star that gig. So I can look down and say, star, that one's already done. Need to work on the others. And then watch the timeline. When it gets closer, I'll unstar it and deliver that message I've already saved. Very simple, very easy. I wish there was an automated way to do this on Fiverr, but there's just not. It'd be my suggestion that you hold it to the last 24 to 48 hours before the due date. Don't run too close to the due date or the due time. Make sure you're delivering a little bit early, but not too early, because that can damage just the trust that you're building with your customer. You never want to do things outside of what you've promised, and that means both early and late. You want to be right on time every time. And I think if you do that, you'll manage those expectations and customers will come back ready and willing to buy from you again because they know exactly what's going to happen, how the process will go, when you'll deliver, how this will all work. That's what you want to set up. Repeat buyers that know what to expect, a very, very predictable experience for every single buyer. Hey, I hope you found these tips helpful, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. We put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Friday, they're exclusive for our Patreon insiders. So if you want to go deeper, go to patreon.com/DJYoung, sign up, get exclusive access to every Friday's video and hours of backlog content that I don't post on YouTube. It's over there just for insiders. Go check it out. We do a Q&A video every single month. We just had one first Friday of every month coming up where you submit questions. I answer them right on camera just like this. It's a lot of fun. That community is growing. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It's good for the algorithm and it's good for my heart. I just like to know that the content I'm putting out is really helping you all. So thanks again for joining me here on Fiverr Talks. As always, my name is Joel, and as always, you should continue to do, because the future favors the doers.